I'm gonna quickly show you my setup. I got my pasta machine on one end. I'm gonna have some sheet pans over here. So when you are using either a hand crank machine or a KitchenAid attachment like this one, you want to make sure that you're starting on number 1, and then you're going to work your way down to the lowest setting on this one, or actually the highest setting. This one is 8. Okay, when using an electric KitchenAid attachment, you want to make sure that when you change gears, the machine is off. Do not roll your dough out in 1, and then while the rollers are rolling, go to 2. It's very bad for the motor of the KitchenAid and for your KitchenAid attachment. In gears 1 and 2, we're gonna kind of continue to knead the dough. So we don't want to go past gears 1 and 2 until our dough is really smooth. And then really quickly, you're gonna go up to 8. The different thicknesses are for different pastas. For like a lasagna, you're gonna want something a little bit thicker. But today I'm gonna go to like 7 or 8. All right, so I have a quarter of my dough. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flour the dough, not the machine. Because obviously if I put flour on rollers, it's just gonna roll off, right? And this dough, it should feel a little bit tacky, which is good. We want a little moisture in there. My other dough I have wrapped up still. And you can do this pretty quickly, so I wouldn't worry about keeping it in the refrigerator, which I forgot to unplug. 1 second. Pro tip, if your refrigerator is running, don't run after it, unplug it if you're trying to make a cooking video. Alright, so I have my dough. Should be a little bit tacky when you're touching it. I floured it. You can see that white flour on there, all purpose. I'm just gonna like mush it down a little bit so I can get it through the rollers a little easier. Okay, so got my roller here. I'm gonna turn it on. I'm just putting the machine on stir. I'm not going any higher than that because we don't want to stress out the motor. So I'm going to turn the machine off in between each gear. If your dough looks a little grainy, you can kind of knead it on settings 1 and 2, passing it through a few times, and that really helps with the texture of the pasta. This might just be from the roller. I don't know if you can see it. Might just need a little more flour. It's some grains, so I'm going to pass it through a couple times on 1. Alright, so I ran my dough through a couple times and it's a lot smoother now. So I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna go to 2 and then I'm gonna, if that works out good, then I'm just gonna go all the way to 8. Always turn off your mixer before switching gears. I also want to stress that you don't want to pull it through the machine. You're just there to catch it. Let the machine do the work, even in the hand cranks. Alright? And always try to catch it and try to take it with the back of your hand. If you go with the front of your hand, as you get thinner and thinner, your nails, just the weight of the dough on your nail is going to cut through the dough. So we don't want to cut the dough at all. So use the back of your hand. With your hands spread out and your knuckles up. Alright, my first piece is done. You can see my hand through the pasta dough. That's what you want. Remember, pasta is going to be about 3 times the thickness after you boil it. So that's why it's got to be super thin. Alright, I'm going to put this on my sheet tray with some flour while I do the other pieces. Okay, so now that I've run my pasta through the machine, I made sure I lightly floured this before I rolled it up because I don't want it to stick together. Alright, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it back up just like I had. You know, doesn't really matter how, just as long as you have it smaller than your knife or your bench scraper. Okay, and then I want my noodles to be about that thick, but I just like them thicker because they're gonna hold more sauce that way. Alright, so I got my noodles done, which is good because I'm getting hungry. Alright guys, so my water's boiling, I got my pasta ready, I got my pesto in a bowl with some tongs, so as it comes out and it's done, I can just throw it in there and it'll absorb some of that pesto and won't stick together. I got a basket strainer in my bowl so I can easily lift up the pasta and throw it into the pesto. So let's get this going. So it only takes a couple minutes to boil all this pasta. Just gonna do a little bit at a time. Shake. So as I'm boiling them, they're gonna start to really absorb that water, which is why you want to make sure that you salt your water so your noodles are seasoned. And it's starting to rise to the top and turn white. This shouldn't take more than 3 minutes. Alright, these are looking good. Shake them off. Throw them in my sauce. I can go with the next batch. Just make sure that you stir around your noodles and your pesto. Alright guys, time to eat some pasta. Noel's on his way home from work, so this is going to be great. You just do a little swirl. Try to get some height in there with your tongs. I don't really want to get another tool, but you could use a spatula for this. Got some height on there. Looks good. Some tomatoes. And finish it off with some Parmesan cheese. Alright guys, so I hope you learned a little bit about fresh pasta. Salute! Mangia mangia!